Here's Mike Gallagher.
The mainstream media was very upset that conservative media wasn't putting the grim milestone of 100,000 deaths front and center yesterday. I don't really quite understand why 100,000 deaths is worse than 99,000 or 101,000. I don't know why 100,000 deaths is somehow different from, 78,000 deaths to the flu a couple of years ago. Every life matters. Every death impacts in ways that are absolutely unbearable. Men, women, children have lost their lives in 3 short months in this country, and it is all terrible. But every bit of this epidemic and pandemic is awful, including the news moments ago that more than 2.1 million laid off workers applied for unemployment last week alone. That brings the number of total job losses on the books to 40 million. 40 million people losing their job in 3 short months as well. There's a lot of bad news today, and I'm going to really push hard to try to remind you about a lot of the good things that are happening in this country and on our planet. There's a lot of good stuff happening. I can't even find the words to express the gratitude of the goodness that you exhibited in skyrocketing our Angel Tree Prison Fellowship campaign. I know it's a little thing, and I know it's it certainly isn't important as the breaking headlines, the news out of Minneapolis. We're going to be all over that today. The unemployment figures, the COVID-19 path of vaccinations, et cetera. But I truly believe as a Christian, as a citizen, as a man, that the only way to counter and to push through bad stuff is to exhibit acts of goodwill and good faith and decency. And you've done that. There are children in America whose parents are in prison, and those children have done nothing wrong, and they are afraid. They're alone. In many cases, they are in very impoverished neighborhoods. Well, in just less than a month, you have contributed enough for us to send 718 children Bibles, sporting goods equipment, letters of inspiration, and thousands of dollars worth of groceries. A lot of these kids aren't eating right. They're not getting good nutrition. Your $200 donation provides a child with over $150 of healthy, tasty groceries. Wow. So right now, 718 kids have been sponsored. How far will it go in the last 2 days of our campaign? That's up to you. It's up to God. Go to MikeOnline.com and click on the Angel Tree banner if you'd like to make a contribution. You'll see the Angel Tree banner toward the top of the page. Just MikeOnline.com or text the keyword kids to 800-655-MIKE. We'll send you back a link. I'm telling you, there is a goodness to that. There is a decency to the American spirit. And to do something good like that in a time that is so troubling right now, it makes a difference. It makes a big difference. Now, to Minneapolis for just a moment. It's burning. Minneapolis is burning. And to anybody who says that the people who are rioting and hurting other people have sort of a righteous, justifiable anger, have you seen the video of the lady in the wheelchair? That's all I'll say for now. Don't tell me that attacking a disabled white woman in a wheelchair is a manifestation of righteous indignation and anger at the death of George Floyd. Um, don't Two things can be true. On the one hand, you can have absolute disbelief and fury at the way the police handled the arrest of George Floyd, evidently resulting in his death. You can also and should also condemn acts of rage, violence, vandalism, destruction, and mayhem, chaos in the streets of Minneapolis. I feel for the community of Minneapolis. I feel for the family of George Floyd. I feel for the families of police officers all over America. And incidentally, I feel for the family of a police officer in Grand Forks, North Dakota, who was gunned down trying to serve somebody with an eviction notice. It was at an apartment building in South Grand Forks. Now, I don't know that there'll be any protests or riots or vigils or marches on behalf of the police officer shot and killed in the line of duty in Grand Forks, North Dakota. There should be. There won't be, because we sort of accept that. We shouldn't accept it any more than we should not accept the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis. But I point this out. There is no scorecard here, but I point this out as an example of how differently people respond to different deaths. Is the police officer who was killed this week in Grand Forks, North Dakota, any less worthy of grief and anger than the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis? Of course not. Senseless, horrific violence impacting communities, whether it's a citizen or a police officer. We got a lot to cover today. 800-655-MIKE, our toll-free number here in the ReliefFactor.com studios. I'm glad you could join us. I would love your voice on all of this. 800-655-6453. Press 1 to come on air with me, 2 to leave a voicemail message. And, of course, the MyPillow text line is always open for you, 1-800-655-6453. We're gonna break all of this down. It's a busy day. We have a lot of questions and a lot of angst in America. That's all right. We've been through good times together. We've been through tough times together. A lot of our listeners began listening to us right after 9/11 when we were in New York City. We're going to get through this too together. Welcome in to the Mike Gallagher Show.